Well, hello again. Now, I don't know if Callum Wilson does watch these videos, probably not, but just in case he does, we've just been joking downstairs there, saying it will be a brave man whoever called Callum Wilson the super sub, so I'm not going to, even though he did come from the bench to impact this game with 2 goals away at the Gallagher end there. But for me, I thought the time had actually come to start Wilson, and I don't want that to sound like a negative or with the benefit of hindsight. I said to my colleagues in the press room before the game that I thought the time had come on the back of Thursday night. Wilson's 2 goals, Isak's impact off the bench, that incredible, quite incredible assist. I thought, at home to Southampton, a team rock bottom of the league, low on confidence, I thought they would have been terrified if they'd seen Isak and Wilson paired together on the team sheet, especially as well, they've got a full week ahead of the game at Arsenal. It's not as if they've got another round of midweek fixtures. So yeah, for me, I thought that they should have played together, and it was only when they ended up on the pitch in tandem there in the second half that Newcastle did turn it around, and it was no surprise to see. For me, an Isak cross for Wilson to get that first goal equaliser, and that's what started the ball rolling. Before we get to the good part, which was the second half, first half wasn't so good, and the game ended with the Newcastle supporters singing about Italy. Well, for the boys up there in level 7, I don't think they'll be home for tea either. The only difference is they're going to Swansea, not Italy next season. And yeah, Newcastle did come back to turn it around and beat a team they should have beat. But as I said, in the first half, it wasn't great. And I think some of that did come back to the selection. Now, the 11 who played there were the 11 who played down at Aston Villa, and we know how that one played out. And I want to focus on one player. And this isn't me picking on him, and I know myself and a couple of my colleagues there have taken a bit of stick on social media for highlighting Anthony Gordon's performance. But we highlighted Anthony Gordon's performance during the first half as the game was unfolding. Now, Eddie Howe responded by taking off Gordon at half time. So, we weren't that wrong. Now, I know there's a want among fans to give him a chance and protect him. Of course, I absolutely get that. And we'll all give him a chance. He's arrived from Everton. He's bound to be, not up to speed, bearing in mind where he's come from. So yeah, there are massive mitigating factors as to why he needs time, he needs exposure to Eddie Howe. Will he improve for that? Absolutely. So, let's not, go overboard, and this isn't judging the player at all. But if we're going to analyse his first half, and that's what I'm here to do, I didn't think he was very good. I thought he saw a lot of the ball, almost too much of the ball, because Newcastle didn't play badly in terms of working the ball into good areas. The problem was a lot of it went to Gordon, and he clearly wasn't sort of physically able to impact as perhaps he's able to, or perhaps he wants to. Now, yes, he got into good positions, he put a couple of good balls over, but from those positions, I don't think he made enough of that territory. He's put through on goal there by Alexander Isak, and it's a poor first touch, takes him away from goal onto his weaker foot rather than across the defender and onto his stronger foot. And I just thought he looked a little bit tired, slightly low on confidence in terms of conviction, and he just looked sort of physically spent come the end of that 45 minutes. I go back to the point, that is understandable. He's going to need time. A plus, he never hit. As I said there before, he saw an awful lot of the ball, but I just thought if it had been Alexander Isak in those positions, they're working the ball into the channel there just behind me, I think Newcastle would have profited far more from that, and there wouldn't have been the situation where they were 1 goal down. Now listen, of course, Anthony Gordon wasn't the sole reason Newcastle trailed at the break. I just thought they were flat on the whole, really, weren't they? The goal they conceded, Bruno dwells in possession, Kieran Trippier looks at the man, forgets where the man is, and like a goldfish almost in the space of a second, and Stuart Armstrong scores the goal. And at half time, Newcastle hadn't played well, I thought, across the midfield. Bruno, Willock and Joe Linton as well, weren't at it. The 2 centre-halves got turned a few times, so it wasn't a great first half. But what changed it? Well, Eddie's decision to bring on Wilson for Anthony Gordon. Again, that's not a dig at Anthony Gordon, but we are here to analyse performances, and that is my take. And for the record, everyone down there in the press room at half-time was saying the same thing, that the way out of this for Newcastle was to bring Gordon off, put Wilson and Isak on together. That's what happened, and yeah, Wilson was sensational, wasn't he? And what do you do? You know, because it is working. The rotation, it's working. Eddie's just said to us there downstairs, it's working in terms of protecting Wilson's minutes, and I absolutely buy into that, because, you know, previously Callum probably would have played every match in the past 7 days, and probably played every minute as well, and that's when he would start to feel hamstrings and all the rest of it, and then Newcastle would be without him for a period, and that was really harmful. So the way Eddie is managing his minutes has to be applauded. But yeah, I do just think, especially against Arsenal next weekend, you know, huge game on the television. Newcastle have got the chance to not only listen to their own Champions League aspirations, hopes, all the rest of it, you know, that is of absolute paramount importance, but I think the chance just to send a message to the rest of the world by being the team, would be targets as well, you know, by being the team who ends Arsenal's title challenge. I think that's an incredible opportunity for Newcastle next week, and to put those two in from the off would really lay down a marker from the word go. But anyway, we'll look ahead to that game more as the week goes on. Speaking of those top 4 aspirations, though, again, just downstairs in the press room there, we've watched Liverpool's late winner at Tottenham, and that's significant for Newcastle. It is, because when Tottenham equalised there in the 92nd minute, we're sat redoing the calculations and working out that if Newcastle get 4 more points, Liverpool have got to win every game to match that tally, and Newcastle will get more than 4 points from their remaining 5 games easily. So you know, if Liverpool draw against Spurs there, you're probably thinking Newcastle's Champions League qualification is all but done. Because they've got the winner, and because there's every chance Liverpool could win every game between now and the end of the season, Newcastle are still likely going to need another 7 points from those 5 games. So not done yet, but when you see what they did at Everton, you know, I was there on Thursday night, when you see what they did 7 days ago against Spurs, when you see the manner of the comeback and the fact this afternoon, and the fact they've got 2 players in Wilson and Isak at the absolute top of their game right now, I've got no doubt whatsoever they'll get the points they need between now and the end of the season to send them to Italy, as you guys said. Now, a couple of little newsy items to update you on. Sean Longstaff missed out today. He was sent for a scan on Friday on the foot injury picked up down at Everton. The good news for Sean and for Newcastle is that there's no break there, and I would now fully expect him to be involved against Arsenal next weekend. Jamal Lascelles has picked up, I think it's a calf injury in training. Looks like his season could be over, but given Sven Botman and Fabian Schär don't look like missing a minute, and of course you've then got the option of bringing Dan Burn in from the left, that's perhaps not as big a blow as it once was, but nonetheless it does weaken the bench. And what of the latest on Alan St-Maximin? Well, he isn't yet back in full training. The mystery deepens somewhat, bearing in mind, you know, the videos of he's posting of himself sprinting here, there and everywhere, but no, you know, the word is that St Max isn't yet training, probably won't be involved against Arsenal next weekend, and there's no real guarantee we're going to see him again next season. Now, when I wrote this story during the week, a lot of the replies were, what does this mean? You know, could this be the last we've seen of Alan St-Maximin in a Newcastle shirt? Well, yes, it might be if he doesn't play again this season, because I've long been of the belief if Newcastle had the right offer, that St-Maximin would be sold. You know, he just doesn't maintain that form and that fitness for long enough, and there always has been as well, you know, 1 or 2 issues behind the scenes, well documented for a while now in terms of timekeeping and other little things. So yeah, if the money comes in and it works for both parties, I probably will expect to see St-Maximin move on this summer. Now, where are Newcastle in terms of recruitment? You know, we've spoken about this a lot over the past couple of weeks, haven't we? And a lot of the noises coming back are to us guys, you know, calm down, it's April, not August. Yes, conversations are being had, but Newcastle aren't, quote, far down the line with anyone yet. Now, I will just mention 2 players, only because they were playing out there today for Southampton. Romeo Lavia in midfield, the young midfielder who I thought was very good. Of course, dispossessed Bruno for that goal. He's someone they like. I think they've liked him for a while now. And also James Ward-Prowse. Now, I'm told James Ward-Prowse is on the list, but, you know, probably very low down the list. Now, if Southampton are relegated, as looks likely, and it gets towards the end of the window, and Newcastle are still in need of bodies in terms of, you know, building that squad for for a Champions League campaign. Now someone like Ward-Prowse might come into the reckoning, we don't know, but nonetheless the two players Newcastle are monitoring, while I wouldn't say they're at the very top of the list. And you've also got to think, you know, as much as I like both players individually for different reasons, they are playing centre midfield for a team who are bottom of the league. So I'm always sometimes dubious of the value in taking players from teams who have gone down. So anyway, that is, like I say, it's April now. They've actually got to get to the Champions League first before we really start focusing on recruitment. But anyway, yeah, I'll be back here next Sunday. Before then, we'll have the Arsenal preview, of course. Yeah, hit like, hit subscribe, all of that. It really does help. And thank you for watching these last few weeks, guys. Been really fun. Numbers have been great, and thanks for your interaction as well. It's been a pleasure bringing these videos, and I hope you're enjoying them. I hope you've enjoyed this one. It's more winning reflections for you guys. So yeah, take care, and I'll see you later on in the week. Okay, bye bye.